the highest probability of the major amount of defaults is going to be in the second half of 2024 until the first half of 2026. And where I'm getting that from is that it's very simple. The vast majority of these floating rate loans that we're taking that's going to cause a problem on the non-institutional side, we're taking in 2021 and 2022. That puts us into 2024 and 2025 for them to be at the point where most of them had rate caps that were maybe 3 years. And getting those rate caps into years 4 and 5 is very challenging. And by the way, some of them have already had problems because they only had rate caps for 2 years, for example. But I'm just trying to give you the high level.
Yeah.
So then you got to figure it's going to be a few months while they're trying to sort out what to do with it. So I don't think we're going to see too much of an impact, like in terms of the whole thing going through the snake in one ball is basically going to happen probably between the second half of 2024 to the first half of 2026. That being said, what I'm trying to figure out is how many of these loans are going to be renegotiated and extended, or how many are really going to be foreclosed. And I'm starting to ask around what that's going to look like. And it's very hard to predict. Another thing, just like that, the other thing I'm watching for next year is, even though I think the high price probability recession is next year at the moment for a lot of different reasons, it's an election year. There has been a ton of stimulus that was actually enacted this year. I'm not talking about last year, the year before. There was a ton, over $1 trillion or $2 trillion. And so I absolutely see Biden possibly doing stimulus next year, trying to stave off a recession prior to the elections. If that happens, that could kick the can down the road of a typical timeline of when the recession would occur. So there's a lot of moving parts. What I try to do is look at the probabilities and kind of project them out as to when they're going to happen. But we all have to recognize that there's a lot of other factors that can actually change those things as well.